What's good, Ken Gonda? It's your boy O'Shea Duke Jackson, back at it again with another powerful collaboration, guys. And you know me, I was surfing on the African side of YouTube for new talent, and I came across a very spontaneous YouTuber with a great personality, and she has a lot of stuff to offer. I'll let her introduce herself and what her channel's about.
Hi everyone, my name is Zawadi, and I always say, this is your favorite high cheekbone sister because of the cheekbones. But anyway, that's besides the point. My channel is about getting all the right info to go and invest in Liberia, West Africa. As you guys know, there are so many untapped opportunities in Africa, and Liberia being one of the countries that has those opportunities, from real estates to farmland to, which is agriculture, of course, to water supply, manufacturing, production. All of these great things are found in Liberia, and of course, with very low capital and startup costs. And we can navigate out of that. I talk to people on how they can purchase land. I actually sell land and ensure that your documents are proper, and also establish farms, real estate. Some of these other things can be seen on my channel. And that's what I do. I'm a source of information. I'm also a source of transparency, and I work with integrity. A lot of my projects are also on my YouTube channel, so you guys can see what it is that I do.
All right, and editing team, give her a round of applause for that. And I will say that there are many people from America that either, I know like there's certain parts, like Minnesota is a big part for
Uh huh.
Liberians, the
Yep.
DC area, Philadelphia.
Yep.
But there's some people who have moved back,
For sure.
and
For sure.
they're talking about their story. They live in the United States and then they moved back. Shout out to Focus on Liberia. I get to hear a lot of people
Yep.
talk about Liberia there. But you're unique in the fact that what you talk about almost extensively or exclusively is the entrepreneurship opportunities that even you can't go to the Liberian Investment Authority and it's not as clear as you
Right.
make it. Let me ask you this, because there's so many countries out there that's right next to Ivory Coast.
Yeah.
Ghana's not so far. The Gambia is popular.
Right.
Sierra Leone is right next door, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
What makes what makes Liberia so unique right now, or a good opportunity in comparison to the other countries around you?
So I see Liberia as a country that is not highly penetrated, meaning that you don't have a lot of competition for businesses. As an entrepreneur, you have a very good labor force. That means you have like 70% of the young folks who are willing to work, and at an affordable price, right? As an affordable wage. So people who are looking to invest in Liberia do have that advantage. In addition to operational costs, if you open a business, the operational cost is not going to be as high compared to other places, and it's really easy to navigate Liberia. Low competition means if you have your business, people are likely to come to you and you're going to make more money because you're not competing with as many people as you should be competing with. The other thing is the property value is not as high compared to other areas, because if you purchase land through my firm, you understand that I do all the whole process, and compare in comparison to other countries, the price is relatively really good. And currently, I am selling an oceanfront property. Compared in comparison to other countries, wow, it's pretty much like the other countries double what I charge for oceanfront properties. And you're probably wondering, well, why is it so cheap and why is it so affordable? But that's because the area is untapped. You understand that property value does increase based on what is surrounding. So as and more people are starting to build in this community, the value of your property goes up. Land does not decrease in pricing; it always goes up as you can see new development come about, and that's why it is. And so Liberia, I see Liberia as a virgin country in the sense of if you come right now, you establish yourself, people pretty much know about you. But if you come 5 to 10 years from now, it's already overly penetrated. People are in the market already, and now you're going to be buying things at a higher price. That's the difference. And within the last 10, 12 years, Liberia has been relatively stable. So as far as security, you are great in that sense. And land space is there if you're interested in agriculture. That's a place that is actually very is untapped, because we import a lot of our products, and so you as as a farmer or an entrepreneur looking in that direction, you have the chance to be one of the top. For example, I just started a pineapple farm in Liberia, and I'm going to be the first to make pineapple juice. The good thing is we've already signed with a distributor in the U.S. who's going to be distributing our pineapples. Again, I become the first person, but I don't have to be the first person. You can be the second, the third, the fourth, and send stuff to other countries. And even within the country, you can still get your return on investment. So that, those are some of the differences. I mean, I could go on and on and on because I have lived in some of those neighboring countries that you've referenced. I live in the
Mm-hmm.
Ivory Coast.
Mm-hmm.
The barrier there to a lot of people is French.
Mm-hmm.
People are like, I don't want to go to a country where they speak French, or I don't know French, whatever it is. That's
Mm-hmm.
another disadvantage. And I have some friends who are from Sierra Leone, and they say, wow, things are very expensive compared to you, because as my construction company, the construction company I have in Liberia, if I give a quote to somebody in Sierra Leone versus what I give from Liberia, they're like, oh my God, this is not even that expensive. So,
Mm-hmm.
the margin is huge as far as how much people are going to pay in different countries.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Sierra Leone being an example as far as construction. A house that I
Mm-hmm.
could build for somebody for 50,000 in Liberia, in Sierra Leone is 100,000 plus. And this is
Mm-hmm.
based on conversation I've had with people in Atlanta, Sierra Leoneans in Atlanta, and so that's why I'm even trying to take my company in Sierra Leone too. But yeah, so there are some differences there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You even had a episode. I believe you said you built an apartment
Hmm.
for $7,000,
Yeah, I did.
right?
It's my own apartment, yeah, and it has
Okay.
running water. It
Mm-hmm.
has electricity. And of course, you install your own solar panels, right? But
Mm-hmm.
even from the start to the finishing, and
Mm-hmm.
it'd be like 1.5 bath where it's not it has a sitting area. It's very decent, right?
Mm-hmm.
Shower, everything is in there that you have in the U.S. And it's built at that price. It's
Mm-hmm.
because the labor you're negotiating for labor, and
Mm-hmm.
also the material costs. All of those are
Mm-hmm.
negotiated. Even as my construction company, what I give my client is I negotiate for the materials. I even negotiate for the rates with myself, and say, just to have that balance of
Mm-hmm.
people having nice homes and my workers being paid. So there's a
Mm-hmm.
balance in things that I do. I negotiate for some of the materials.
Mm-hmm.
For example, the cement. I negotiate for that, and then I go to Ghana and get some materials there at a
Mm-hmm.
cheaper rate, to ensure that the houses are being built in
Mm-hmm.
an affordable manner. Yeah.
Okay. Let me talk about this because with Liberia and Monrovia, I know that you have a poultry farm project that you
Yeah.
talked about. We were talking about a little bit earlier. Let's talk about this because you're from Liberia.
Yes, I
You
am.
understand some of the opportunities, and we'll talk about farmer in a minute. But a lot of us that are watching this channel are like me. I've been to Africa like 16 times, but most people have not. They have an interest in Africa. They're trying to
Hmm.
choose a country. They're not Liberian. They're not,
Okay.
they're not Kron, or they don't know anything about, maybe not even the history of Liberia. So when you're coming to a country like Liberia and you are not Liberian
Hmm.
and you want to do something, what uh, how do you get around things when you're not Liberian, and like there are challenges coming to Africa or as an African American? How do you deal with that coming into a country that's kind of rebuilding itself like Liberia, and what steps they take?
Okay, so the first thing I always tell people to do is you have to connect with somebody who knows, the in and out about the country. So I've had some consultation for people in the Caribbean. I even have a fellow who's actually moving to Liberia in December from the U.S. Virgin Island. He's pretty much from Jamaica, but he lives in Florida, and he's going to Liberia because we've walked him through the process on how to get there. So you partner yourself with somebody who knows the in and out of the country. The other thing I would like people to do, or encourage others to do, is when you go to the country, act like you know nothing. Not even parts of the history. Yeah, you can know the history one that, but you want to listen attentively to people who have been in the country so they can give you more knowledge. Pretend like you know absolutely nothing, because at the end of the day, people like to talk about themselves and people like to talk about their country. So that just means that you are more receptive. In addition to that, and they are more welcoming towards you. But if you act like how people are doing things is not the right way, then they will see you differently. But if you are there to see how people navigate day-to-day life, and you have some questions
Mm-hmm.
that what are some of the barriers to doing X, Y, and Z, what are some of the
Mm-hmm.
things that you need in this community, then they say, okay, well, this brother or this sister, wow, they have interest in me. But if you just go there and like, I just want to
Mm-hmm.
work, I just want to have a business, I want you to do X, Y, and Z, X, Y, and Z for me, then it's not going to go well with you. So
Mm-hmm.
it's very, very important to put assimilate into the community, and try
Mm-hmm.
to have them educate you, and sometimes you learn
Mm-hmm.
so much than what you even expect.
Mm-hmm.
And you become acquainted with those people, and they seek your interest. So like the fellow, he just bought a farmland, 10 acres of land. And then once you start to converse more with the people, they say, well, we'll give him three acres because he's coming in our community. He has been so friendly. So
Oh
it's
wow.
those
Okay.
little things. You do that. You probably think, well, that's not a big deal, but at the end of
It
the day,
is.
they got his back. Security wise, they
Right.
got his back. Property wise, they got his back because he made
Mm-hmm.
himself comfortable and warm with them. And
Mm-hmm.
so those are some of the things that
I'm glad you said that because one of the things that I had a problem with when I first went to Uganda and started trying to do some things there was maybe being a little bit of judgmental and not understanding why people do things. But I'm
yeah,
so glad that you said have an open mind
right.
to try to understand because in America it's so easy to criticize like yo why are you not doing this because you know how America is like that but Africa is not, you can really offend somebody
Yeah.
quickly and turn them completely off to you.
Oh, yeah.
I'm glad you mentioned that because it's different from what's in America.
Of
But let me
course.
ask you this: people in America, like I know me, I'm from Sacramento, California.
That's where I'm from.
What? You're from Sacramento?
Yeah.
What? Really? I went to Grand High School, man. We'll talk about that
And
later.
the
So
Grant, what?
yeah,
Eggroll, all those places. Wow, I'm done.
many years ago. So so you know in Sacramento, I don't know what you came in 2007, but
No.
back in the 80s, Sacramento was like a farm town.
Right. It
It,
was.
it,
Yeah.
it was like Fresno or something. But
Yeah.
now it's like really developed, right? And it's it's
Mhm.
expensive like anywhere else.
Right.
So what happens is that we don't know the opportunity. So you talk about like farming, we're like, what? Like I'm at Rayleigh's Bel Air or whatever. But you go to Africa and people are making like sometimes $1,000 selling trays a day of
Yeah.
eggs.
For sure.
There's one dude we interviewed, this guy Hamisi. This dude made like $17,000 in a day selling goats,
Yeah.
breeding,
Exactly.
and we don't
Exactly.
know nothing about that. So talk about the opportunities in agriculture because African Americans that come up in metropolitan cities, Atlanta, we
Mhm.
don't know too much about that stuff. What are the opportunities that the diaspora can get in agriculture, and how do they get training for that in Liberia?
Okay, so if you are looking to get into agriculture, there are a couple of things there. I know pepper, just the spice that we all eat, like pepper. I'm sure a lot of your viewers know what pepper is. That is not something Liberia produce. Okay, we get this product from Guinea and Sierra Leone. So there's a big market there as well. So if you're probably an entrepreneur who doesn't know much about agriculture, the agriculture ministry does provide a lot of resources, even to give grants out to people who are looking to farm, but a lot of people don't have access to that information. So they provide you with that support as far as farmers and all of the rest. For me personally, when I decided to do the poultry farm, I did my needs assessment and I realized a lot of the products were coming from out of the country. So I told myself and my partner that hey, this is a business that we can definitely profit 20,000 plus. You can literally per month you can make 18,000 out of this business because you are at a capacity where you can, which is 20,000 birds. And if a chicken, one bird lay an egg per day, and you have 20,000 birds, you're pretty much having 20,000 eggs per day, and per crate of egg is $2, right? Depending on where you are. But if you're within the city limit, then it's like $3 per crate. So you do the math, you can see the lucrative profit there. And if you have 2 to 3 farmers who you're paying no more than $300 per month, you look at your operational costs, you understand your profit margin is well over $10,000 per month if you were to go that route. So somebody looking into agriculture, you have onions. That's something I've encouraged people to have, like an onion farm. It doesn't take long
Mm-hmm.
to harvest, right?
Mm-hmm.
That is something that is well needed in the country, just in the country, period. And
Mm-hmm.
by poultry, as far as the value that I just explained, that's not even export. This is in the country
In the country,
itself.
so
In the country,
In Liberia,
you
10.
are getting
Wow.
right, and you're getting that in Liberia. So now imagine if you were to export and do all the right things, like what your margin would be, right? Because when it comes to agriculture, you need to understand sustainability. How sustainable can I be for me to supply years and years to come? That's very
Mm-hmm.
important. So anyway, so like onions, that's another business that could go, right?
Mm-hmm.
Many people don't even think about it that way. I told the gentleman he needs to start with pepper because honestly, it's going to shut them from going to Guinea, Ivory Coast to get pepper. Something simple as that. Pepper, onions, and potatoes. That's another thing there. Potatoes. You can see the reason I would say potatoes because there has been a trend now of restaurants that are selling fries, but they're taking the those things frozen goods from Europe, from other countries. So then you already have a market there. So these are some of the things that people can look into now. Obtaining a farmland. I sell farmland as well. But let's say you don't go through me and you go the other direction. Farmland is not something that is expensive because of the nature of it being a farmland. Now, having the staff also, you can get 10 to 20 staff members, and your budget per month could still be well under $500. Like I said, it really depends.
Mm-hmm.
So purchasing a farmland, having the staff for it, you can consistently get consultation. Consultation, what is $50 to pay to somebody to come and say, you know what, I want to have a pepper farm, but I don't know what I'm doing. I want to consult with you. You have expertise. Can I
Mm-hmm.
pay you for service? And so once you gain that, you consistently keep that relationship with that consultant, get your
Mm-hmm.
farm going. But at the end
Mm-hmm.
of the day, like I would tell anyone, it's about even in the US who you know and what kind of network you keep. And so those people who are working with you as consultant, you don't want to just use them as consultant today, but you want to keep them within your contact. So that way, as you progress in your business, you can always have them to reference and so on and so forth. But agriculture really is a business that I would recommend to anybody to go into because we're aging population. Also, we are growing in as far as population is concerned. By 2050, Africa the youth population is going to double in Africa. So that means a lot of people are eating and eating, but we're not really supplying the food because we're not going back into the soil, and
Mm-hmm.
that's where agriculture comes in to be a big factor.
Let me ask you this because we're gonna have some people, and it could even happen to some of the people that's from Liberia that come to. I know a lot of us are a lot of Liberians, not a lot of Liberians are in the United States, but they have some that are in Australia, some in Canada now.
Hmm.
But then they get really good jobs.
Yep.
And when you come to Liberia or you come back to Africa, now you're the entrepreneur, right? Now you're finding the talent. Now you're managing the business. Now you're reinvesting in the business and all of
Hmm.
these things.
Yeah.
What I want to ask you is because so many of our brothers and sisters want to come to Africa, but they're not entrepreneurs.
Uh-huh.
You're an entrepreneur. I can see all in you.
Yep.
I am. I'm a hustler, right? And so we kind of figure it out, as younger people. But some people have been in the mode where, I've been at a guaranteed check all my life, and then you get dropped into like a place like Nigeria, Liberia, got worse. Really you got to put in the work, and the power
Yep.
is out, and you have all traffic is a challenge. How do you get mentally ready if you're not an entrepreneur, and then you want to transition to Liberia? What are some of the skills that you need to develop in America
Hmm.
before relocating to Liberia as a successful entrepreneur?
Communication skills is very key. And by communication, I'm not saying just talking and talking. Comprehension is key, is a key factor in doing anything in Africa, period. Um, Establishing friendship is a skill, of itself, as in like maintaining some type of some type of the same communication that we talk about. Knowing people and having people within your network is very important. So as a person who is not an entrepreneur, you still have the ability to be interpersonal, to use your interpersonal skills, which is very, very vital. The other thing is not a skill, but it's something is the ability to network. You have to network and network and network. And so if you are somebody who is not an entrepreneur, but you have such interest, you want to network with people who already does. So if you are looking to have a salon, for example, you don't want to go to the market. You want to go to the salon and go talk to those who already have the salon there. The same with a farm. If you know I have a farm, the first thing you want to do, hey, Emma, or Zawadi M, whatever you want to use, I am interested in a farm. You know, what knowledge can I gain from you? What do I need? So you have to be able to network, and that's where your people skills come in. You know, being able to communicate, being able to reach out, being able to be a go-getter to want these things to be established. The other thing is obviously finances, right? These are not skills, but I'm letting you know these are things that still must be in place. Having some type of fund to do things in Africa is very vital. For example, the person who's going to take you to the farm needs to be compensated. That's a level of trust that you're establishing that, okay, I'm not doing anything for free here. However, I can go above and beyond because I know that you're trying, that you want to seek more knowledge, you want to do certain things, but you are compensating me for my time. Those are not skills that you even need to go to school to gain, but these are things that you have to see it as, okay, if you put in, you get. The more you put into something, you're able to get out of it. But if you become stagnant and not looking to invest into certain things, then you don't get back from it. So interpersonal skills, like I said, is very, very important. Communication is very, very, very important from the time you get to the airport to when you leave the airport to go into mainland Liberia. Those are very, very important things to do. And the nonverbal cues are also very, very important because sometimes those can be misinterpreted misinterpreted, period. Those things have to be I don't know. Those things have to be considered. I don't know if I really answered that question because those are the two skills. I mean, hard skills that I would say yes, but there are other factors contributing to your success of whatever you want to do there if you're a non-entrepreneur. So let me give you an example. Let me give you an example of that. So, okay. For example, the poultry. My degree is in business management, right? But mainly healthcare. Mm-hmm. But you probably wonder, why do you have a poultry when you know more about healthcare? Well, my thing is, I see opportunity. So what I did, I contacted somebody who was into agriculture. My partner, Kevin, he's an agriculture guy. He could tell you the math, where the building needs to fit for the poultry. He would tell you all of that. Mm-hmm. And then he would tell you like the husbandry practices, the biosecurity. He that's his job. Right. So knowing what he does and coming and discussing with him and saying, you know what, let's partner up. I could do operation, I could do X, Y, and Z and all these things, but I'm not a farmer. You are a farmer, you're an agriculture guy. How can we come together to get something going? Right. So that's very important too.
Okay. So you take your skills where you're at and then find the talent.
Right.
Because so many people don't know how big of a skill that is on the continent. Because in America, the employer finds your talent. But when you're an entrepreneur, you're looking at, okay, here's what I can do. Right. Let me find somebody what they can do. And let's come together and use our skills and make the enterprise greater.
Exactly.
And you do the same thing with your contracting of houses, right?
I do the same thing with my engineers.
Pineapples
do the same thing. My real estate, my apartment that I rent out, I do the same thing. And then my entertainment center that's being built. I'm not a bartender. I go to somebody who bartended before. You know?
Right. And then you're not, and the thing about you is you're not afraid to pay.
No, I am not.
Information. Whereas some people, not in the communities in the Black world, like, I ain't about to pay for that shit. I'm going to figure this out. And then they fail. Maybe out there dusty as hell. And then they be mad. Like, what the do you think was gonna happen? You know what I mean? Like, of course you're gonna be dusty. But I'm glad you said that. So, brothers and sisters, make sure that you brothers and sisters listen to what she's saying because it's so true. Because you need people to help. In America, your family is chosen for you, but at least when you go to
Right, right.
Africa, you get to choose who your
You go
family
to your
gonna be,
family, yeah,
and you
for
need
sure,
those people to
exactly,
help you out and do things. So I'm glad you
for
you
sure.
mentioned that. Okay, let me ask you this. Concerning, I know land scams is a big thing all across the continent, right? And I know it's
It
a
is,
little bit. And I saw you doing like a 3 hour live stream about that before, and
yeah,
you were giving some really good tips. There are a lot of people selling land and reselling land in most countries in
yes.
West Africa. Okay, how does somebody, and somebody said, well, Zawadi, you know what? I mean, I see what you're doing, I like what you're doing, but these land scams, how do I know that I won't get scammed either?
Mhm.
How can I get around that?
So the thing is, the difference between me and others is that we are locked into a notarized contract. So that means if you purchase a piece of property and maybe 2 years from now somebody come back and say, this is my land, blah blah blah, you know where to find me. You know what the contract says. I'm going to be the one to reimburse you. But before we get to that level, every land that I've sold, I have sold over 11 plus acres now to people. All the lands that I have sold, I do my due diligence within 6 months to a year. So I've already gone to negotiate for the land. That's the first thing I do. I negotiate for the land, then I go and take your paperwork that you have, the deed, and I take it to the archive and go check the relevant information about that land. So if it tells me maybe your grandfather owned that land and passed it on to you, I would like a power of attorney note. That note is then provided to me, and then I go do my other check about that note. Then the other thing I do is to see how many family members are assigned to that deed. Because if I don't do that, another family member could come and say, "This is my land. My brother sold it to you. Well, I didn't sell it to you," which is all relevant. However, if you do your due diligence to ensure that the person who's selling this deed has the power of attorney, meaning they can sell it, whoever comes after that has no say or whatsoever. So I do the court process. I check the archive. I also check for the like I said, I check the power of attorney. All of these things are established, then we can go ahead. I take it up a notch by consulting with a counsel, which is a lawyer. And what the lawyer does is to go and do his own assessment. He does the assessment, ensure that the land is what it is. We go back to the system to check for all of these things to ensure that yes, the land is being properly sold. So since 2009, I have done this. I've not had any issues at all. For my own personal land, also for those family members that I've gotten land from. That's why I don't have any headache because I do my due diligence. If you purchase land from me, you have security. Even in the contract said, I have my own security team as far as the properties. So I have a young man who patrol all my properties, especially the ones that I've sold. What he does, he goes every Saturday to ensure that nobody's encroaching on the land. Because if you're next to somebody, it's easier for them to kind of build on your property without you really knowing. And so what he does is monitor all of these things, and if he see any weird movements, he come in and gives a report. And then it's just little as, hey, you're doing the wrong thing here, and blah blah blah. And these things can be easily settled. However, I just not have not ran into these issues. So I'm not just selling properties because of the sake of selling properties. My integrity is very important than a couple of $1,000s. Honestly, that's why I do my due diligence and ensure that the contract it protects you. All the time that I've gotten into contract with people, they're like, "Wow, you're the first person to come with such a contract like this, and it's notarized and everything." And yeah, the document also is delivered to you with your name on it. With a notarized stamp on it. And so the other thing a lot of people don't know is that if your property is notarized in Liberia, anyone else who come and says that that's theirs, they don't hold any merit to you. Not only that I sell land, I also have been helping people with disputes. That means I know the business. So I've helped people with disputes where they purchased land a couple of years ago, and then somebody come and say, "Well, this is mine." And I also have a video coming up if I thought, well, okay, that's yours, that's fine, it's yours. But what paperwork supports it? So a lot of times, what I've been seeing with these disputes, the people coming forward to say that's theirs don't have any paperwork. So I said, well, we I don't want to keep talking. Let's go to the court. So we go to the court, and the judge asks them to bring paperwork in the time frame that if they don't bring the paperwork, then we go ahead and do our project. And so all of them has been very successful. We don't have issues. So you always find me. I'm already in the contract with you. I'm very transparent. So those are some of the things that you're getting. And I have a strong team that I've worked with. Some of them I worked with for 16 plus years,
Mhm.
as young as I am. But these are people that I've known for years, and they've been working with me, and they understand that what matters a lot to me is
Mhm.
transparency, my integrity. And
Mhm.
I'm not just a face. I'm my own brand, and I'm not going
Mhm.
to jeopardize that for a couple of thousand. So.
Let me ask you. I won't keep you too long, but two things. I've heard that some people in Liberia have complained about they run out of cash sometimes.
Mhm.
Banks may run out of cash. Um, so that's one thing, and then obviously it could be it's a little harder to get a visa. It could be into
Mhm.
Liberia. Can you talk about those two things and also getting a bank account? So I guess we can first start with the cash part. Do banks run out of cash a lot in Liberia? Is it hard to access?
So recently, within the last year or two or so, there was that issue with, of the shortage. But then also you have to understand that the issue of the money disappearing from the country, right? And I don't like to go political here, but it has to do with some political uh, not instability, I would say, but there was some political thing going on of which that happened. So it's pretty much I'm going to show people a lesson. I'm going to teach people some type of lesson that is. That was my first time hearing that. But what has been different though within the past month, year or so is the new technological advances that are taking place. So a company like they call TipMe, Sendwave, these are all these are all internet-based transactions now. Instead of people taking cash to go pay for certain things, it's kind of alleviating that cash flow. So you're using your phone. And I know I'm talking about TipMe. I'm not endorsing them by any chance, but I'm letting you know that there is now a system where you can pay. It's like Apple Pay, right? You can, load your wallet and then you pay for it. So to alleviate that issue of cash. If you also have a bank account, this is something that has been very consistent with my team back home, especially our construction company. We do get huge sum of money, like $30,000, $80,000, and it stays within bank account because we can't always move that cash around. And what has been consistent is whenever we needed to be withdrawn from the bank, it's always there. You know what I mean? And so that's something that you get. So when you open a bank account, you already understand that your money is going to be kept there and it's going to be saved there. Um, so for me personally, since I've been going to Liberia, I've never had issues with cash. And it just puzzles me that people do. And one of the bank account that I would say people should establish would be with it's called the Echo Bank. That's a bank that you can store your money, and then there's a Guaranteed Trust Bank that is
Hmm.
also outside of Liberia. It's a lot in East
Oh yeah,
Africa.
Africa. Period. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly right. So, yeah.
Okay. And then let me ask another thing too, because I know this is going to be crazy, but with the history, because some people that kind of know the history between Liberia and then African Americans and kind of what happened in 1980. Some people are like, oh, maybe we shouldn't go back there because of that kind of tension. The Miracle Liberians, and I'm African American, so that would kind of make me very close to them, right?
Right,
Like, so how would they, look at me? And I know you did have a sister from America that she invested with you, and she did an interview, and it worked out really well. But some people that might not understand this history might be like, well, I don't know, because there's already kind of been like some negative history between the local people and African Americans. So what about if someone asks you that? Like, have you ever had that question before?
all the time. I would hate to say it's the history of the past, right?
Mm-hmm.
However, you do have a past before you go to a present and then a future. That has already happened. And it's not to say that people don't understand that it happened, but it's not something that people are dwelling on. It's not something that people are saying, yeah, this happened before, therefore this is going to happen before. A lot of Liberians are actually very welcoming to their brothers and sisters that, live in the diaspora, African Americans, as you would say, very welcoming. And it's not that they're disregarding that historical context, but more so is like, how can we move forward as a country? How can we move forward with the contribution that these people brought here back then? And that's the new generation. That's what they're embracing. That okay, we together we can all do better. Because a lot of times, even my parents reference back and say, well, back then Liberia was, up here. Liberia was up to this standard, and because of these newness that came into play. These days, people are not seeing it as takeover. It's more so how we can be a collective. So and that's how people see it. And especially like my dad, he experienced the war, and when he referenced and talked about how Liberia was before, he said, the great things happened in Liberia before, when people came, people came in, and up to this day, people still celebrate just as being Robert in Virginia. So the history of it is mostly in a positive connotation, even though there are some people who feel the way they do, but they're not in the majority. So that's what I'm saying. Like they're more welcoming, especially looking back at how the country was before, when those people came in.
Oh, I was even hearing the Liberian that says that he felt that William Tolbert was the best president that the country had. He got killed.
I'm telling you, I'm telling you, you have that history too. But these days, though, I would definitely say
people moving forward.
People are moving forward. People are looking at the development mindset now, and when you hear people say we don't want non-Negroes to own land in Liberia, then they say, okay, but how about African Americans, right? It's like, well, they're Negroes, right? They're still part of us,
right?
And so they're not looking back.
Okay. Okay. Well, Zawadi, you have given a lot of information. You are a very talented YouTuber and entertaining, especially on the lives. You have a lot of people that come onto your channel from the Liberian diaspora, and a lot of times you see people on streams, they don't really talk about a lot of stuff. But every time you're on here, it's about some business. You don't be playing. It's always about something that leads. It's a conversation that leads someplace. And that's what I love about your channel. Tell people why, right? Because I always ask YouTubers on that come onto our channel, why should someone subscribe to the Zawadi YouTube channel?
Because I am all things Africa, and I am 100% for development of Africa, and also how people can make money of the African continent. This is our continent. We need to hold it in our hands. And I feel the opportunities are there. Why can't we just explore? My channel does give you the resources for you to go and do that in Liberia. And I'm also a source for you, whatever it is that you want to learn about Liberia specifically. And I've traveled to other African countries. I've actually lived in other African countries. So I know the in and outs. Even Ghana, I know the in and outs of Ghana. And so coming to my channel, you're getting information. You're trying to see how things can be done, like how to do things. Where the money is, how to get you to acquire property, So my channel is to make you money. My channel is to get you information. My channel to make sure that you sleep good at night, because that whatever it is that you're getting into, it's great stuff. Who doesn't?
And the year of return for the Liberian diaspora is in December.
Yes.
I heard you talking about, we go party, y'all. We gonna be kicking it. Come through. I heard you talking about it like you was really excited. Tell people about the year of return that's coming in December.
Yeah, it's called the Year of the Diaspora, and I can share the flyer with you. But this is to celebrate 200 years. Okay, this is a celebration of 200 years, and bringing our brothers and sisters back to show them what it is Liberia has to offer. The beaches, the natural resources, the land, and the culture, the vibe, the food, everything would be displayed, and a lot of investment opportunities will be discussed there. A lot of people from HBCUs are going to be there in February, because this is the whole year thing, from December to next December. So a lot of students are leaving out of the U.S. to go to Liberia and to discover. Man, I'm telling you, you go to Liberian parties, you are never going to go back home. It's always a vibe. There's so much going on there. But then, this whole year of the diaspora is not only about parties, but how can people come home and invest, How can know about the culture, know about the people, know about the food? I'm telling you, like, Liberian food is good. So that's what the Year of the Diaspora does. It brings people together,
Hmm.
to work together, and also to see the culture, to see the different side of what the media doesn't show. So
Out and when I go, I would love to take our video team out and shoot the
yes.
farms and stuff. So we'll talk about that. But guys, I want you guys to go check the first comment pinned to the top. I can honestly tell you, when I share her videos, there's some other people. Shout out to the brother, Liberia to the world. He's a great channel too. You guys have
Hmm.
some amazing YouTubers that are really talking about things that I don't hear anybody else talking about. Like you two, you're amazing. I want to tell you for
Thank you.
being in this space. You're underrated, right? You should have more subscribers.
For sure, for sure.
So you're underrated. So make sure you check her out. It's a lot of good information, a lot of good panels with people in the Liberian diaspora, and you'll learn a lot. You'll learn a whole lot. I love the the one channel focus on Liberia. I'm listening to that every night. Like it's my favorite thing now. Like every day I listen to that. So shout out to them, and guys, keep it real, King Ghana forever. We out.